welcome to the Dead Swordfish. I wondered when I'd see you around here. What can I do for you? Are you kidding? After what you did at the gates? Anybody who's anybody comes through my tavern. Just a matter of when. Now, did you want something, or are you just here to see me? That's an understatement. You want to hawk wares, you come to Thirdborn. Legitimate, or, well, you know. Nothing like Paradise, of course. But people here are a little more forgiving than the Adirans. Oh, no offense. Well, anyway. Actually, I've been waiting for a few barrels of mead to come through. My supplier, Falkeen, has been sitting on it. Some Adiran oomph should change his mind. I'd be happy to reward you if you don't mind talking to him. Now, did you want something, or are you just here to see me? Oh, maybe I should hire a bard. Better than off-key shanties all day.
And so, that's how the mad Archmage Tane found himself in the Living Lands.
But no one's seen him, have they? What's he been up to if he really is here?
Who can say what Archmagi do with their time? Have any of you truly seen Reengrim? And yet, we all know her presence in these lands.
Give us another!
Would you care to share a tale with us, envoy? A worthy effort. Please, godlike, tell us of your travels.
Subtle. Next time they ought to go for X marks the spot.
Yoo-hoo! Over here, dearie. Ah, there you are. It's rather rude of you to keep a lady waiting. I'll forgive you, though. It gave me a chance to dip into my notes about the Circle of Archmagi. One does not simply waltz into an Archmage's domain unprepared. Tell me, dearie, how much do you know about Reengrim? Well, with her skill in spellcraft, she certainly could do so if she wanted to. The Circle of Archmagi are the most powerful magical beings in Aora. Whatever the reason, the fact that she's here at all is significant. Aldra's titties, the Circle sent the Archmage of Terror. Oh, she's just brilliant. Well, Nakukubel is the largest of the godless ruins. It's still got its share of secrets. There must be something in there of interest to Reengrim. Probably something powerful. I knew I liked you, darling. I'll be with you every step of the way. Those Steel Garrote bastards stole all my research about the Godless. They'll get to the garden first over their dead bodies. I can show you the way to Reengrim's domain, but we should travel lean. The less of us there are, the less likely she'll take notice. You'll need me to get you in the door, so who's staying behind? Of course. Take your time. I have plenty to do in the meantime.
Don't keep her waiting. She may be small, but she's energetic. I don't know where she stores it.
Don't tell me you're out of linen. We need to make bandages.
I don't know what you expect me to do. I can't just make more linen out of thin air.
What am I supposed to do? Do you want everyone to bleed out?
Does it even matter? There are always more injured and dying than there are supplies. It's hopeless.
There's gotta be a better way to fight dream thralls.
Don't see Addie or hurting over it. They're out in Eagle's Reach like it's a training exercise. Well, if it's a training exercise they're running, surely they won't care if some supplies go missing.
Wouldn't that be a shame, huh? Yeah.
Be nice if we had guns like that. I wouldn't be so fucking terrified of the dream thralls otherwise.
Guns like that? On our wages? Come on, be serious.
Maybe I should take up adventuring. Sell one or two fancy pots from those old ruins and I'd have enough, huh?
You want to get yourself killed? Go ahead.
Let me know if you need something. Best weapons this side of Abidan's Forge. I'll be damned. Never thought I'd see star metal in my lifetime. Short answer, no. Long answer, still no. But the Forge Master in Solace Keep is probably your best bet if you're looking for someone who does.
Come on, where's your sense of adventure? No one can swing a hammer like you.
If you knew how rare this stuff is, you wouldn't ask me to risk.
All right, I said she would. You said she wouldn't. There's your bet.
Ismalt's meteoric apparatus. She's a beauty, isn't she? A traveler sold it to me ages ago. Poor bastard went up against something big out in the Highlands, limped back to town, and died a few days later. Needed the money to ship his body home. I hated to take it from him. Still, Adra inlay, brass filigree, whew. She could use a strong hand. You interested? If the stories I hear are anything to go by, like a kick in the teeth.
How do you feel about poetry?
Poetry? Why the hell? What the hell are you asking me about poetry?
Do you like it? Oh, come on, you can tell me. Say a few lines of poetry. No, I don't. But I want to teach you, okay?
Still remember the first time I saw these stones. In the heat haze, they look just like waves.
The sand needs you, Loato.
I was talking to myself again, wasn't I? Sorry. I don't know. Do I? Maybe I'm just nervous. I had a dream about crossing the great sand sea, you see. Great dunes and shifting clouds. I had this feeling I'd come back changed. No, just recently. It was so vivid. I keep hoping I'll have it again when I sleep. I have to know what's out there. What a strange question. Of course not. There are no trees out there. Or maybe there are. Have we really fallen so far that we can't dream anymore? That's a shame. I should get going. As soon as I remember which way that is.
They're all dead. I can't do this anymore.
I must have done 100 shifts on those watchtowers. Never saw so much third-born blood under them.
Yatsley.
Andra's titties feel...
Another fragment in. This thing's just getting warmed up.
Let me think. Yatsley. When all of this is behind us, the dream scourge is getting worse. First our land, then our animals. Now our people. If we don't put a stop to it, we're looking at the end of the living lands. How can anyone expect us to do both? As if the dream scourge wasn't enough of a problem, the Adherents are profiting off our misfortune. They haven't come to help us. They're here to exploit our weakness. We thwarted her in Emerald Stair. Maybe we can do it again. It's too bad. We're fighting for our lives, our souls, and our freedom. I don't know if we can win all three. You really think so? My apologies for acting cynical, but it feels as if nature, politics, and even the very gods are working against us. I don't appreciate being backed into a corner, but here I am. Despite everything that's happened, I'm so grateful to be working with Yatsley. In many ways, Quilichi has been like a second father to me. But Yatsley, she's like my dirty aunt who's up to no good. Oh, she's an expert in that field. While I have your attention, I've been thinking. Why is Inquisitor Ludwig suddenly interested in godless ruins? I doubt she could use them against us, but I've been wrong before. We should be ready for anything. Something tells me Ludwig isn't finished with us yet. What's on your mind? What do you want to know? Anyone in particular? I warn you, I'm not the best judge of first impressions. Of course, she's brilliant, open to anything, and sees the world as she wants it to be. Yatsley gave me my first glass of wine, and the courage to approach a special someone. We have a lot of catching up to do. Indeed, old friends. When they died, Yatsley protected me. Made sure I had one consistent person in my life. I think that's why she gave me that glass of wine. Why she encouraged me to live my life to the fullest. She was making sure I hit all the milestones I could have missed. No one to get jealous over. To call it a relationship would be an insult to the word. But it was fun while it lasted. Animancy is the study of life. Unfortunately, we get so busy that we forget to live. So a little roll in the hay is good for the soul. Yatsley taught me that. Well, not the part about rolling in the hay. That was my idea, and I don't recommend it. Now that she's traveling with us, maybe she can teach you a thing or two. I think that covers everyone. And if my good opinion changes, you'll be the first to hear about it. Pleasant dreams.
Listening to Yatsley's thoughts about godless ruins is one thing. Bringing her along for the rest of the trip is something else. Right. Soap is useful sometimes, but I don't pour it in my drinks. If she's read anything about the garden, it was written centuries ago. Obviously, things have changed since then. Bothered? Pedraku. It's my job to guide you as safely as possible. What you're doing isn't safe. I'll go along with whatever you decide. Just don't be disappointed when she doesn't show you what you wanted to see. Anyway. Right. What do you need? What else is there? Let's see. Shatterscarp is a challenge even to me. But I never lost anyone out here. Closest I came was when the kid I was traveling with decided not to keep his mouth shut in Thirdborn. Poor kid. I had to pay half what he paid me just to keep a barkeep from smashing the kid's face in. And the other half to leave town with him. There's a survival tip. Don't go mouthing off in Thirdborn. It takes a certain kind of madness to live out here on purpose. What else? Let's see. I think you know enough to survive out here. As long as you stick close to me anyway. Right. Let's make sure they're not listening. You already asked about Giada, so you probably want to talk about Kai or Yatsley. Right. Yes, I do. Real strong Bleste opinions. I don't trust her any further than I could throw her, which honestly isn't that far. She actually goes down into these ruins on purpose, just to see what's down there, I guess? And now she's trying to lead us to the garden. Might as well be searching for WoW's wacky wagon of mysteries. Nah, I'm sure she knows what she's doing, but what if she doesn't? Pleasant dreams. I suppose if you're on a wild goose chase, there are worse places to do it. At least I know how to deal with those sorts of things. Rope, lantern, extra water skins. Yatsley's got you going in all sorts of abandoned ruins. Who knows what's down there? More questions, most likely. And spiders. No, why would I be? I just want to make sure we've covered all the options before we dive headfirst into another deadly ruin. No idea. I just wish I trusted Yatsley's research. Seems like a lot of danger for not much payout. I'm sure we'll be fine. I just hope this is all worth it. Anyway. You too.
Thirdborn. If it weren't for the Leviathan skeleton in the middle of town, I'd hardly recognize the place. Well, that's what I'm trying to nail down. You ever come back to a place and feel like the buildings are smaller and the colors are duller? Then you get it. Thirdborn was always this rugged oasis. Dangerous and out of the way, but bursting with vitality. It was a harbor for larger-than-life types. People like Capo, the Leviathan Slayer, and Tama. Glory seekers, trophy hunters, warriors trying to leave their battles behind. People who built around their stories and their scars. Me too. Being back. It felt like we were watching Thirdborn die a slow death. Yeah, but I thought age was supposed to bring wisdom. Something to balance out the back pains and creaky knees. I think what's eating at me is that Thirdborn seems rudderless. The Dream Scourge is one threat. Conflict with Adir is another. The Living Lands is changing, and Thirdborn feels like a barnacle on a moving ship. Temeriti's leading them as best she can, but towards what? What are we doing out here besides surviving? Or it'll go the way of the godless and their ruins. Not sure which idea makes me more uneasy. What about you? You were sent by your emperor to investigate the Dream Scourge. Since then, you've died, met a secret god, and gotten swept up in tensions between your empire and our scattered settlements. You brought Egwolf to Adiran justice, but then you thwarted the Steel Garrote's attack on Fjord. Do you know what you're sailing towards, or are you drifting with the tides? That kind of clarity is rare. Your Emperor's lucky to have you. Thanks for talking. I hope Thirdborn is able to find its way somehow. I've got a lot of memories here, and the longer I stayed away, the harder it felt to come back. Until you came along, I thought I'd be able to avoid it forever. Thirdborn's missing a lot of familiar faces. And the youngsters who've grown up and the new arrivals, they seem green. Like they're cut from a different cloth, a more delicate one.
This plague is tearing everything apart at the seams. Healing may take years, if not generations.
Maybe you're both right. Thirdborn's only survived because the people were tougher than the wilds. I just hope the people living behind those walls know how to keep them standing. So did my commanding officers. You're asking me? I'm not much of a gossip. Okay, who do you want to know about? You know, just when I was thinking our little group was getting too solemn and serious, we met her. Sometimes I think she lives in her ruins and grimoires rather than in the real world with the rest of us. But she keeps things interesting and keeps us on our toes. What's more, she's a good friend to Giada. Giada's a good influence on her. I'm pretty sure Yatsley flirts with everybody. I don't read into it. Don't get me wrong, she's a striking woman, but she and Quilici have a good thing. I'd never get in the middle of something like that. Yeah, and both of those subjects fly way over my head. I prefer dealing with things I can see and make sense of. I just hope she keeps some part of herself grounded with the rest of us. She's brilliant, but I worry that the real-world consequences of the forces she plays with are academic to her. Maybe I shouldn't. Sure. You know where to find me.
What? For the camp of an official Adiran envoy, I was expecting a little more. A proper bed, at least. But I suppose this will do for now. As long as you have a bath, of course. I always ask nicely. But as riveting as it is to complain about our accommodations, I imagine you have another topic in mind? I'm the only buyer you'll find here, and I already have the jar. A lesson for next time, darling. It's always worth some haggling. Unfortunately, it's been quite some time since I've met another who focused on the godless as I do. And I imagine I'd be more knowledgeable on the subject than anyone else you could find. I've yet to be burned in a single flame trap, and I don't intend to start anytime soon. Fair guess, though. When I got my first grimoire as a child, I was trying out some of the fancy new spells I'd been given. I was attempting a simple illusion spell, but I must have slurred my words. The next thing I know, everything was on fire. I mean, my arm wasn't the only casualty. What is childhood but for silly things? When else can you get away with arson? My father was able to pull me from the flames as my mother doused them. I burned myself badly enough to give myself some vivid dreams, but the house still stood at the end. Of course. Now I only burn those that deserve it, like mosquitoes and university administrators. The only lasting damage was my burn mark and the dreams. Nightmares are still dreams, Envoy. Just not ones you'd recommend to others. They're not nearly as enjoyable as my more provocative dreams. Well, just be sure to have a quick release knot if you ever make that fantasy reality. Someone should learn from my mistakes. I certainly have no intention to.
Goodness, we're feeling very honest today, aren't we?
As delightful as you are, we've much to do and less time to do it in. Shall we go? Oh, Envoy, might I steal a moment of your time? Well, it's the waiting that makes the payoff so delicious, don't you agree? Look, I lost more research than I'd like to count. But Fiora and its people are safe. That's what matters. Thank you, Envoy. I don't know how you managed it, but whatever you did, you averted disaster. That being said, your ambassador is going to get an earful, and possibly a fistful, next time we're in Paradise. That's what happens when you're the breadbasket of the living lands. Sometimes things get stale. At least we were able to get everyone to safety. Though with everything happening in Thirdborn, safe might be relative. At least I know Temerity will keep an eye on them. I think she knows what'll happen if she doesn't. I know, and she knows. Let's leave it at that. Long enough that I trust her to do her best by everyone. You see, Emerald Stair has Naku Tedek. For a young and aspiring godless scholar, it was a godsend, if you'll forgive the pun. And, as a young at heart godless scholar, I've traveled outside the stair to other ruins. That's how I met Temerity. Thirdborn's close to Naku Kubel. A girl's gotta eat sometime. Yes, why did I choose to settle down with a gorgeous scientist who loves me? What a mystery. I still go out often. I've catalogued many ruins, but there are always more. And coming home to a warm welcome is lovely. You should try it sometime, darling. Oh, part of it is my sparkling personality, of course, but a larger part of it is time. It's hard to hate someone when they drop by your lab with lunch after you've forgotten to eat again. My mother always said that the way to a man's heart was through his stomach. Huilichi and I got together the old-fashioned way, though. I saw a beautiful man across a smoky tavern. Then I dazzled him with my delightful personality. Then he showed me an abandoned ruin outside of town, and I was hooked.
Are you joking? He's my mentor. Not to mention 1,000 years old.
Oh, no. They're both handsome humans, of course, but Giada is like family to both Quilici and me. He taught her a lot of what he knows. She spent days in our home. Literal 26-hour days. It's hard to believe that things have changed so much recently. Any sense of safety just went poof. It makes you wonder how everything will turn out. Me? Well, I suppose that's an option. I'd need help, of course, but I'd at least ask for it. Huh. I'll think on it. Maybe it'd be a nice retirement plan for Quilici and me.
Governor Yatsley. I like the sound of that.
Thank you, Envoy. I feel a little less frazzled. I've got a lot to think on. Talk to you soon? Try not to have too much fun without me. How can I help, darling? We've been traveling together for a little while. I just have to know. Did you purposefully choose such colorful company, or is that just what you attract naturally? I mean, I'm very clearly a delight, so it's obvious why you let me stick around. I'd seen Kai around once or twice, and always thought he was charming enough. He's got a sharp tongue, though. Makes me like him even more. And Marius. I don't know what's lurking in him, but I do think he should speak to someone on it. If he reaches out, do try, will you? As for Giada, well, clearly Giada is a gem. As for me, well, I'm just as riveting as you, but the boys are giving me a run for my money. You've got the thorn of a secret god inside of you. I think your uniqueness goes without saying, my dear envoy. You do strike me as a people person. Tell me, do you get along with all you meet? I understand. It's hard to be away from one you love, even for the best reasons. Can I ask about them, your sweetheart? Oh, nothing like working up a sweat with someone who knows what they're doing, is there? And here I thought I had a wild youth exploring ruins. You might be putting me to shame, dearie. Quilici is quite good at knowing when to be sweet and when to be sour.
Yatsley, that's my surrogate father you're talking about? Spare my imagination, if you please.
Oh, you knew the risks when you came over uninvited, darling. It's on your head. Well, you've satisfied my curiosity. You know, Envoy, we've traveled enough that I think I've gotten a handle on your style. Style of fighting, I mean. Your fashion sense is more opaque. But listening to your incantations, they could use some tightening up. I could probably teach you a thing or two, if you're up for it. What do you say? How about I show you a little bit of everything? What? Out of breath already? Talk to one of the boys. See if they can help with your stamina, dear. Well, I've taught you all I can. Let's hope you put it to good use. We really must... These sudden changes in climate always mess with my coiffure. Does Adir have good fur maintenance products? Do you have a contact for that? Unfortunately, your clumsy countrymen ruined my entire stock of ointments when they were trying to burn my house down. And I'll remember that comment. Truly, just a good long brushing through all my fur alone would do wonders. I've got some time before we see Quilici again, at least. It'll give me time to find something to remind him of what he's missing. In life, you make your own entertainment. I enjoy scandalizing the small-minded when I can. Quilici and I got used to the stairs early on. Thankfully, at least in Fjord, those stopped eventually. After 30 years, it's hard to still be surprised by us just drinking at the Magpie. Oh, she was still young. Quilici offered to help her study for and prepare her thesis as a favor to her parents. She was over day and night for months, and, well, now she's family. We adore her. All things considered, it's hard to complain about my life in Fjord. No, of course not. No one is perfect, but I forgive him many vices. Like, he sleeps with his socks on.
If that's the worst you can think of, you've made out all right.
You're too sweet. As much as I enjoy our little chats, dearie, we should really get going. Oh, but if you do end up finding any liniments, be sure to help a girl out. Well, I suppose you've earned that much. And I do enjoy rewarding tenacity. Though between your dreams and mine, it's a wonder anyone gets any sleep around here. You remember that I nearly burned my family home down when I was young? It was an accident, and I paid for it. My parents refused to buy me more spellbooks for years. Well, shortly after all that fuss, the dream began. It started at first with a fire, just flames crackling, and a feeling of safety. I thought it was a little weird, but nice. But then the dream kept coming back, night after night. I learned more every time. I saw that it was a fire in a hearth, and that hearth was in an old library. I assumed it was a library, at least, to explain why there were so many tablets lining the walls. Oh, everything from dry historical recountings to treatises on agricultural techniques. No romances, though. Whoever filled the library must have been allergic to them. No, never actively. I had read them all previously, if that makes any sense. That's actually how I learned the Akhedan language. Just woke up with that knowledge, which is very useful when you can find no written records. In the library, there's just one person, but they're wearing a hood, so I never see their face. They do the same thing every night. They curl up in a chair by the fire, hold a tablet to their chest, and then the fear comes. The paralyzing, all-encompassing fear of something. Just the noise. A low, deep banging starts, and it rattles through your bones and shakes you to your core. And it replaces the beat of your heart with this droning on and on and on until you forget every other sound you've ever heard.
A beat. Steel feet on the shore. They come by night.
And then, as it just gets louder and louder, and right before it gets there, I wake up.
You've been listening to too many of Giada's ghost stories.
And let me tell you, waking up in a cold sweat does nothing for my fur. How sibilant. No. Just that it's all-encompassing. It's strange. I've not told many of the details of my dream. I suppose I must like you quite a bit, Envoy. Don't let it inflate your ego too much. I suppose we should try and get some rest now. I'll have some... We really must stop meeting like this. Careful what you wish for, darling. So, the Godless, or the Akhida, as they called themselves, were the original folks who lived in the Living Lands. they arrived on the shores of a new land and settled there, living with the land instead of trying to tame it. You sound certain. Well, that would align with my own findings. But how could you know that? Oh, well, we should definitely trust that. But dubious metaphysics notwithstanding, you corroborate my theory. The Godless are so singular. Their art and architecture, you never see it in Rawatai or Ishamatul or, well, Adir. But in their artwork, they reference escaping, fleeing, seeking refuge, so they must have come from somewhere. My guess, they originally came from Yesua. Yesua, a continent, cut off from the rest of the world, hidden by eternal storms, one of the 3 hubs of the Angwithan Empire. 10 years ago, you could say it wasn't real, that it was a dream, but they said the same of Ukaiso. Suddenly, the appearance of a mythical land doesn't seem so implausible. There was some kind of schism, an ideological one. From what I can glean, the Godless were staunchly against the gods, hence their name. There are even some not-so-kind murals of the gods. It seems like the Godless really took their anti-theism seriously. I know. Well, I think we've covered everything, don't you? Rather, as much as I think you'll withstand. Hope you enjoyed talking about this as much as I did, dearie. How can I help, darling? Careful what you... So, they arrived... Well... Help you. Sweet dreams, envoy.
Under my protection! Heal yourself! Quick! Quick as a fox! Earth and rock! That'll show him.
All right. I think that's everything. We found the map? Good luck with it. I couldn't make heads or tails of it. Maybe it'll speak to you.